a proud young woman named Olamide. She was beautiful, strong, and very picky about who she wanted to marry. Every man who came to propose was either too short, too tall, or in her eyes too poor. One day, a farmer named Ayatund came to ask for her hand in marriage. He was tall, with broad shoulders, and he spoke with the confidence of someone who had worked in the sun all his life. He had an entire farm of yams, cassava, and palm trees, but he had one problem. He was poor in the eyes of Olamide. Olamide looked at him with disgust and said, "Ayatund, I cannot marry you. I want a man who wears the finest clothes, rides a horse, and has plenty of money. You are just a farmer." Ayatund smiled and bowed his head. "No problem, Olamide. But remember, a farmer can feed you for a lifetime." Olamide laughed and replied, "Feed me? I'd rather starve than marry a man who smells like the farm." A few months later, famine struck the village. The rains didn't come, and food became so scarce that even the village elders were worried. Olamide's family, like many others, began to run low on food. They had to sell their goats, their chickens, and their pots of soup, just to survive. Olamide's family, like many others, began to run low on food. They had to sell their goats, their chickens, and their pots of soup just to survive. In the middle of her hunger, she remembered Ayatund. He was the only one in the village who still had food, loads of yams, cassava, and palm nuts. She ran to Ayatund's farm, ashamed, with her head down. "Ayatund," she said, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize how important your work is. Please, I am hungry. Can you help me?" Ayatund looked at her with kindness and said, "Olamide, I will feed you. But know this, when you turned away from a humble farmer, you turned away from love. Now you come to me, but you must never forget that love is not about what someone has, it's about who they are." Olamide ate his food that day, and they talked. Slowly, she realized that Ayatund wasn't just a farmer. He was the provider of life for everyone in the village. After days of reflection and a full stomach, Olamide went back to Ayatund and asked for his forgiveness. "I was wrong. I've seen the true value of your work, and I see now that love is not about what someone has, but who they are." Ayatund smiled and said, "It is never too late to learn the true meaning of love." They married that year, and Olamide became the happiest woman in the village, not because of gold or fine clothes, but because she had learned to appreciate a humble man who worked hard for his family. She never went hungry again. Please subscribe and like.